We have a creator of satirical ribaldry in the tradition of Swift, Rabelais, Burroughs and Monty Python. For satire to hit its mark, it has to be totally impartial, sparing nobody. Because in the words of T-Bone Slim, wherever one encounters injustice, the correct form of politeness is attached. So, if there's anybody here tonight who is offended by vulgarity, by the mention of poo-poo, wee-wee, bottom, disrespect of authority and pretense, this isn't for you. If you are of a sensitive disposition and are easily offended, please fuck off now. Ladies and gentlemen, the gargantuan Tony Kearns.
We'll double down on that, alright? There is a trigger warning on the book. So, thank you all for coming tonight. And Dookie 4 is upon us. And if it wasn't before, it's going to get nuts now. So I'll give you a brief history for those that haven't had the pleasure of the first three. In Dookie 1, we saw the young warrior become a man and take a stand against the arse demons that control the corporations and the church. In Dookie 2, we saw the man lead an army into World War III against the political and corporate arse demons and their armies of lickers. In Dookie 3, we witness him take on a vicious horde of arse lickers that had risen from the ashes. We also got to meet a few celestial buddies, like Lulu, or Lucifer, as you may know him, his brother, the hippie Jesus, and Trev, the unholy ghost. Plus, of course, he managed to piss off the angry bastard God. And it's God we're going to take on. I'm not going to give the story away, and I'm not going to give out the best bits, the funniest bits, or the most rank bits, because you've got to have some pleasures in life when you're on your own. But over the last few years that I've been working on Dookie, I've listened to everybody that has read it, and what they've asked for, and they've asked for more violence, more sex, and even more craziness. So, I'll reiterate again, it does have a trigger warning. I have this time included more silliness and more silly violence, and I have given in and written a proper-ish sex scene. But I'm not going to read that out. If you want to get your eyes on that, buy the book. All right. So here we go. I'm going to give you just a little from the very first few pages of the book, and then something from a little further in, and of course a new character bio. So, Dookie versus the demon god. An ordinary day. Our hero wakes from his normal 12 hours of slumber. He slides his large right arm out toward the other side of the Super King bed to feel if his missus is still there. With his fingertips reaching nothing but an empty pillow, he raises his face from his warm hiding place, just enough to open an eye to confirm what his hand already knows. He's alone. He brings his empty hand back and slides it up under his pillowed head, elbow high underneath to help raise himself from the comfort of his warm nest. His left arm matches his right as he arches his back, pushing his giant torso into the mattress. He cracks his worn-out spine and farts an enormous morning guff into his 7.5 top-rated duvet. The beast of Dragon Valley spends a moment of warmth and luxury as he basks in his self-made heat jet, a warmth kept inside his slumber cocoon by the perfect number of togs, deemed so by the togmasters themselves. The steamy fart hurricane soon surrounds his being, from his knees to his shoulders. The sheriff lowers his face back into his pillow and just enjoys the moment of peace and tranquility. A nice, lazy morning for a nice, lazy day, he thinks to himself. Nothing to do but a gym lift and office work today for our hero. Just a few seconds passes by, but the heat of the fart diminishes, and the old git finally raises himself to the edge of the bed. His legs touch the cold spring air as his feet search out for the slippers to hide in. Once they are tucked away inside their slippers, the old man raises himself to his feet. He stretches out his arms and turns toward the bedroom door to begin making his way to his throne room. As he passes down the hallway, he passes the full-length mirror at the top of the stairs. Be rude not to, wouldn't it? He mumbles to himself as he steps back and views his reflection. Naked, but for the slippers on his feet, he flexes his arms up in a front double bicep pose and admires himself for a moment. The peaks on his buys, the roundness of his giant delts, the Olympic swimmer-style lats, and the four-pack just showing through his ripped stomach. Just enough to put a smile on our hero's face. Not to mention the gigantic elephant trunk of a knob he drags across the landing as he makes his way to dump one out. 45 minutes and not one courtesy flush required to an empty house. He lifts himself from his throne, washes up and gets his gym gear on. It's strongman training day today at the gym and he can't wait to get there. He finally heads downstairs for a bacon sarnie and a cup of joe, the prerequisite to any good strongman workout, right? Our hero takes advantage of the brisk, sunny day and decides to walk down the streets of his beloved town towards his strength emporium. As he passes by the first high street shops, he can't help admiring himself in the window's reflection. As he does so, outside a used bookshop, the owner of the shop opens the door. "Morning, Sheriff. I've got an extra breakfast bap here. Would you like it, buddy?" he states as he pokes his head out onto the street. "Oh, wow. Cheers, dude. That'd be great, Tar," replies our hero as he takes the bat off the shop owner. He munches the freebie down and continues down the high street. A few bites later, and thinking another drink wouldn't go amiss, he finishes the lovely sausage, bacon and egg bat and passes a coffee cart on the side of the road. "Morning, Sheriff. Coffee here for you, bud," the cart owner calls out. Our hero, again, accepts this gift from a polite trader and continues on his way. "Meow, Sheriff," says a young man dressed in a slightly furry two-tone onesie and a pink collar with a bell on it. "Morning, Mr. Nibbles. Oh, I think I just saw a mouse down the alley there if you're interested," replies our hero. "Ooh, meow," says the bonkers moron as he scurries down the alley for his free breakfast in true form of his chosen identity. Our hero sups again at his free coffee, shakes his head in disbelief of the world, and continues on down the path to his gym. As he does so, he of course goes back to admiring his wonderful physique in the shop windows. What a great day, he thinks to himself. Now, I should have said this to start with, but not everything may be as it seems, okay? So, I'm going to fast forward through the book a little bit, because this is my most religious piece so far, and I should endeavour to give you a glimpse of the featured Almighty. So here's a piece with crayon. The bearded fat fuck from the desert stands proudly in the doorway, dressed in a white robe and Jesus Creeper sandals. "You fucks aren't going to win. I'll give you one chance to fuck off," God spouts in all his holy godliness to the room. Dookie, Chris, and Trev, however, seem to have synced their minds. Like a house full of premenstrual women, they were going as one. The heroic heroes all pounce at the fat fuck. Dookie, unable to really pounce, just thrusts himself forward and the weight of his belly takes over. He lands on God's feet, breaking two of his metatarsals and chinning the grumpy old git's ingrown toenail. Yet as God howled out in pain, Chris clotheslines him, and Trev, rushing in too fast, just slides straight through him and into the back room. Downed by the massive arms of the throat move by the general, God gasps for air as he lay on his back. Legion, however, jumps in and takes full mount to secure the prick in place. God howls out in frustrated pain as he finally gets air back into his lungs. "Fuck me, you shit stains. That hurt like hell. You broke my friggin' toes." Lulu stands over his father, his eyes glowing a deep red, fists clenched as he begins to shake with anger. However, his skinny little alcoholic brother rocks up by his side, turns to face him and rubs his belly. "Calm down, brother, calm down, we got this." The hippie Jesus then orders God's legs to be lifted by the ankles until the soles of his feet face the ceiling. He then holds out his hand and requests Vin attend his side. As Vin cuts through the crowd, Legion changes his hold, grabs the fat fucker's legs and pulls them into the ordered position, a position that now exposes the cheekiness of his subdued opponent. Vin quickly attends the brother's position and dumps his bag of weaponry on the floor. He unzips the bag and reaches in, and after a few seconds of rummaging around, he pulls out the old torch. Gory winces and clenches his butt cheeks as he remembers that wooden shaft being stowed inside him years ago. As a quiet DC standing at the rear of the B&E team can't help but focus on God's tight little mangina masturbates. Okay guys, I think I've given enough away now. So I really hope you enjoy this. I went to a proper crazy place to write it, so I hope it takes you to a proper crazy place when you read it. And now, as promised, there's a new character bio from a being called Cam Cam. They are a new member of Dookie's team. Cam Kamala Anderson in full title. Cam Cam is new to the Sheriff's Department. He, they, him, it just got out of a 4-year relationship with his, they, them, its evening education professor. He, they, them, us, it felt that to complete the course, he, they, them, us, it had to make sexual advances toward the professor to keep from failing his, they, them, us, its typing class. It finally paid off though. Just 208 weeks into a 3-week program, and he, they, them, us, it has finally got his, they, them, us, its diploma. Tail of the tape. Height, 5'10". Weight, 15 stone or 210 pounds. Penis name, Boog the Enormity. Identifies as a pronoun. Not just one of them though, as Cam Cam doesn't want to upset the others. It won't be obvious to you or anyone else which one he is today. However, when papers are served to you by a solicitor's representative, you'll know you got it wrong. Likes. He likes vaginas, wearing black leotards, to inform everyone he meets of his sexual preference. To watch DIY plumbing videos, to be addressed using pronouns, to ensure everyone he meets knows he didn't quite make it through puberty intact. He dislikes willies up the bum, your grandpa, because he definitely doesn't find older gentlemen hot at all. He's clearly a moron that needs more attention than he's currently getting. Now, he wants to join the ISM crowd, but he has failed the test. Wears a black corset unless he is competitively belly dancing, and he only got the job in the Sheriff's Department to fill a diversity quota. In brief, Cam Cam has spent much of his youth trying to please any authority figures in his life. He has never tested a boundary of right, wrong, or even just how far he can throw a tennis ball. Therefore, believes he is a nicer person than you. However, he is too scared of upsetting you, himself, or anyone else to actually say he believes he is better than you. Did I say better? No, he doesn't believe he's better than you, of course, just nicer. Sometimes. Maybe. Oh fuck, he's crying, so I'll stop. Thank you all for listening to my ramblings. For daily freak shows. Cheers, mate.
Any questions?
How could you have a question about that?
Where would we start?
There was no drugs involved.
Thank you. Rebecca, low.